Hello and welcome again to John's Poetry Channel. Today I'm going to read you a poem by Charlotte Mew and then a sequence of linked poems by Robert Frost. In both cases, they're on the subject of the position of a woman living in a somewhat isolated rural area with her farmer husband. So we start with Charlotte Mew, The Farmer's Bride. 3 summers since I chose a maid, too young maybe, but more's to do at harvest time than bide and woo. When us was wed, she turned afraid of love and me and all things human, like the shut of a winter's day. Her smile went out, and 'twasn't a woman, more like a little frightened fay. One night in the fall she runned away. Out 'mong the sheep her be, they said, should properly have been abed, but sure enough she wasn't there, lying awake with her wide brown stare. So over 7 acre field and up along across the down we chased her, flying like a hare before our lanterns, to Churchtown, all in a shiver and a scare. We caught her, fetched her home at last, and turned the key upon her fast. She does the work about the house as well as most, but like a mouse, happy enough to chat and play with birds and rabbits and such as they, so long as men folk keep away. Not near, not near, her eyes beseech, when one of us comes within reach. The women say that beasts in stall look round like children at her call. I've hardly heard her speak at all. Shy as a leveret, swift as he, straight and slight as a young larch tree, sweet as the first wild violet, she to her wild self. But what to me? The short days shorten, and the oaks are brown. The blue smoke rises to the low grey sky. One leaf in the still air falls slowly down. A magpie's spotted feathers lie on the black earth, spread white with rime. The berries redden up to Christmas time. What's Christmas time without there be some other in the house than we? She sleeps up in the attic there alone, poor maid. 'Tis but a stair betwixt us. Oh my God, the down, the soft young down of her, the brown of her, her eyes, her hair, her hair. And now we turn to Robert Frost's sequence of poems on a similar theme, but as you'll hear, things work out rather better for the woman in this. This is called The Hill Life, and I'll give the titles of each poem as we go through. So, The Hill Wife. Loneliness, her word. One ought not to have to care so much as you and I care when the birds come round the house to seem to say goodbye, or care so much when they come back with whatever it is they sing. The truth being, we are as much too glad for the one thing as we are too sad for the other here, with birds that fill their breasts but with each other and themselves, and their built or driven nests. House fear. Always, I tell you this, they learned, always at night when they returned to the lonely house from far away, to lamps unlighted and fire gone grey, they learned to rattle the lock and key, to give whatever might chance to be warning and time to be off in flight, and preferring the out to the indoor night, they learned to leave the house door wide until they had lit the lamp inside. The smile, her word. I didn't like the way he went away. That smile, it never came of being gay. Still he smiled. Did you see him? I was sure. Perhaps because we gave him only bread, and the wretch knew from that we were poor. Perhaps because he let us give instead of seizing from us as he might have seized. Perhaps he mocked at us for being wed or being very young, and he was pleased to have a vision of us old and dead. I wonder how far down the road he's got. He's watching from the woods as like as not. The oft repeated dream. She had no saying dark enough for the dark pine that kept forever trying the window latch of the room where they slept. The tireless but ineffectual hands that with every futile pass made the great tree seem as a little bird before the mystery of glass. It never had been inside the room, and only one of the two was afraid in an oft repeated dream of what the tree might do. The impulse. It was too lonely for her there, and too wild. And since there were but two of them, and no child, and work was little in the house, she was free, and followed where he followed field or felled tree. She rested on a log, and tossed the fresh chips, with a song only to herself on her lips. And once she went to break a bough of black alder. She strayed so far, she scarcely heard when he called her, and didn't answer, didn't speak or return. She stood, and then she ran and hid in the fern. He never found her, though he looked everywhere, and he asked at her mother's house, was she there? Sudden and swift and light as that, the ties gave, and he learned of finalities besides the grave.